The unit that we're getting into, this is unit 2, is on parallel lines. So what are parallel lines? What does that mean if lines are parallel? Yeah, you should have one of each piece of paper. I'm just doing a little intro right now. We're not even to that. I'm just going to introduce this. What are parallel lines? It's lines that what? Yeah, don't intersect. So I just want your attention right now. I'm just going to introduce this topic, okay? When you see two parallel lines in geometry, what we do is we put little arrows like this to indicate that they're parallel. Again, you don't need to write this down. I just want you to look and pay attention. I'm just explaining things to you right now. That would mean that they're parallel. Okay, so those are your parallel lines. If we put another line through them, that line is called a transversal. It's a big word that just means it goes through the two parallel lines. That is called a transversal. Now, we're going to go over a lot of vocabulary. I do need the computers closed again. I don't like calling people out by name, so I'm just saying that to the whole room. If you have your computer up, just go ahead and close it. We're going to go over a whole lot of vocabulary, but here's the thing. If you get stuck on the vocabulary, you either have a big angle or a small angle. Can you just look at this real quick? I'm going to color code with my blue and my purple here. Do you see how this angle is bigger and then this one is kind of smaller? Do you see that? How one is bigger, big and small. That's essentially it. Do you see how these two are across from each other and it makes an X? Do you remember what we call those? The ones across from each other. It begins with a V. Vertical. Good. Do you see small, small, how they're the same? And then these two, big, big, how they're the same? Here, I'll put a double line on that so that it looks different. Here we go. One second. And then if you do the exact same thing down here, do you see how these two are small and then these two are big? Do you see that? Small and big? We all on the same page here? Because if you get caught up in all the vocabulary that I start talking about and you're like, this is too many words, Miss Cole, I don't understand what's going on. There are too many words. Just bring it back to big and small. Do you get what I'm saying? You have big and you have small. That's essentially it. Right? Sheet that I gave you, which is this one right here, and go over our vocabulary. Okay, there's 5 of these angle pairs that we're going to look at. The first one is corresponding. If things correspond, it means they match up. So there's 4 different ways this can happen. That's what your 4 different pictures are here, and I'll color code. Angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding. Do you see how it's in the upper left spot here and it's in the upper left spot here? Like, do you see it? Okay, they correspond. If these are your parallel lines, and this is called a transversal, that's the vocabulary for that. These are your parallel lines, that's a transversal. 1 and 5 are corresponding. Another way it could look, if this is angle 2 right here, down here, angle 6 is the corresponding one. Do you see how they're both in the upper right? But like I can lead you towards this, but I can't like force you to see it. Do you see it? Like upper, okay, like again, it's like I can present it, but you have to like take the information and understand what's going on. So let's try angle 3. Which one down here corresponds with angle 3? 7, do you see how it's in the bottom left? 3 and 7 correspond. And then the 4th way it can happen, angle 4 and angle 8 are corresponding, so they match up. Do you see how this one is big and this one is big? They're both big. Do you see that? And if you look at this one is small and this one is small. They're both small. Do you see that? All right, they're both small here and they're both big. It means that they are the same. What is our word in geometry that means the same? Perfect, congruent. So corresponding angles are congruent. If they match up, they are equal or congruent. There's a lot of words to just say they match up, okay? Fall back on your common sense thing, right? Next one is alternate interior. So there's 2 ways that this can look. Alternate means they're on either side of the transversal. They alternate. Interior means inside. So just watch. Again, this is one of those things I don't have a better explanation than, hey, look. Do you see how this would be interior? Like in between the 2 parallel lines, interior? Okay. So angle 3 and angle 6 are alternate interior. Do you see how they're on alternate sides of the transversal, but they're interior to the parallel lines? Alternate interior. Everything is exactly what it sounds like, okay? The other way this could turn out is you would have angle 4, and what would be alternate interior with 5? Do you see that? They're on alternate sides, but interior. Now, let's decide how they have a relationship with each other. Do you see how this one's small and this one's small? They're both small. Okay. And 4 and 5, do you see how they're both big? Like obtuse? Again, they're the same, which means congruent. If they're both small, they're congruent. If they're both big, they're congruent. So alternate interior means congruent. Interior means inside the parallel lines. This one says exterior. What on earth do you think that means? Perfect. Thank you. This is going to go so well because you're listening to me. All right, they alternate. They're on opposite sides of the transversal, but outside of the parallel lines. So if I cover up this middle part, angle 1 is alternate exterior with angle 8. Do you see how they're on opposite sides, but exterior? Also, do you notice how they're both big? Cool, okay. Now, what would the other pair be? It would be angle 2, and what would be alternate exterior? With 7, good. So on the other side of the transversal, but exterior. Do you see how both of these are big? They're the same, and both of these are small. So again, congruent. Hanging in there, 2 more. There's 5 of these angle pairs that we have to do, so 2 more. All right, the next one is called same side, or sometimes you'll see it called consecutive, which just means next to each other, interiors. So if I cover up the outside, we want to be interior, but on the same side of the transversal. So what do you think 3 would link up with for same side of the transversal? 5, good. So same side, but interior. Now, do you notice how that one's small, but that one's big? They're not congruent, okay? That one's small and that one's big, so they're not congruent. Now, the other way it could work is you would have 4, and then that would link up with 6. Good job, perfect. Same side of the transversal, but interior. Instead of congruent, these are supplementary. Does anyone remember what supplementary means they add up to? It's either 90 or 180. 180, it means they add up to 180. Okay? One more, and then we'll play a little game to solidify this. Okay, and then we'll do some actual problems. So same side, so on the same side of the transversal, but exterior. So you want to be outside of the parallel lines. That means angle 1 would link up with which one? Same side, but angle 7, good. Same side, but outside of the parallel lines. And then the other way it could turn out would be 2 and 8, good. Do you notice how this one's big and that one's small? And then over here, this one's small and that one's big. So it means they can't be the same. They're not congruent. It means they are supplementary, good. So everything is either congruent or supplementary. So if you lose your mind, you got a 50-50 shot. But here's the way you can remember. Do you notice how the same side ones are the supplementary? So same side, supplementary. They both begin with S. Same side, supplementary. Everything else is congruent. Okay? We're going to keep going. We're now going to apply that to doing some actual problems. Okay? So when you look at this first one, and these are all solved for X. Okay? Do you see how, and you can turn your paper if you want. Do you see how you have the 2 parallel lines? They have a little arrow on there that means that they're parallel. Do you see how this 55 is kind of in the top right of that box, if you will? Like if you cover this up, you see how it's in the top right? Okay. Where is the X? Top, yeah, but it's also in the top right. Do you see that? So what do we call those? If they're in the same place. So, but I'm looking for corresponding. Okay, we got to get used to what their relationship is. So those are corresponding. And I heard somebody say if they're corresponding, that means that they are congruent. So cool, that just means x equals 55. And there's no algebra to do, there's nothing to solve, that just is, they are equal. So that's your answer, that's all you gotta do. So let's try the next one, number 2. Do you see how they're on the same side? So they are same side, interior or exterior? Why interior? That's correct. They're inside the parallel line. So again, it is what it sounds like. Same side of the transversal and then interior. And I heard somebody say it as well. That means that they are perfect. We're going to add them together to equal 180. So we're going to take our x plus 62 plus x, add them together, equals 180. Now we actually have a couple steps of work to do there. You will be okay. But don't talk over me if you guys don't mind, because I want everyone to, and it'll go fast if you guys all listen to me. All right, we want like terms. X plus x is 2x, good, plus 62 equals 180. A lot of math is just rewriting what was there. Unfortunately, you just recopy. All right, then what? Yeah, minus 62. So I'm going to just be your calculator for this. I'm going to just have Desmos in another tab here, and I don't want to mess it up in my head, so I just type everything in. Rely on your calculator, although mine isn't opening here. There we go. 180 minus 62. I got 118. And then what's the last step there? Stop talking over me. Good. Divide by 2. So we're going to do 118. Oops. Divide by 2. I got 59. So x equals 59. Good job. Very nice. This is exactly what your classwork is going to be like. All right, so look at the next one. Do you see how they are on the same side of the transversal? All right, they are same side what? Interior or exterior? Good, exterior. They are outside. Again, it is exactly what it sounds like. They're on the same side of the transversal, outside of the parallel lines. Can we get heads up? I should make sure everybody's with me. So if they're same side, that means that they are supplementary. So we're going to add them together to equal 180. You're going to have 5x plus 35 plus 45 equals 180. So you're going to add them together to equal 180, and then we're going to work that out. Good. 35 plus 45 is going to be, what is that, 80? 80. Oops, I did a copy error there. Plus 80 equals 180. Actually, might not even need a calculator for this because that isn't too hard. If you subtract 80, what do you get? Yeah, 100. This worksheet doesn't have a whole lot of space to do your work here. Divide by 5. Does anyone know 100 divided by 5? It is 20. Good job. Nice. All right. Here we've got this 17x minus 4. That's right here. And then you've got the 12 plus 15x. Are they on the same side of the transversal or not? They're not. So instead of same side, it's called alternate. Alternate. And are they interior or exterior? Good. Interior. They're inside of the parallel lines. So alternate interior. Okay. That's fine. We will just skip number 4. I don't have enough space to fit that on there. There's not enough room on this worksheet. So we're just going to skip number 4. I've got enough examples. It's fine. We've got plenty of example problems, so we're good. I'm not worried about that one. All right, so does this mean they're congruent or supplementary? You can look back at the other side of your paper. Congruent. Good. So we're going to set them equal. 17x minus 4 equals 12 plus 15x. So you don't involve a 180. You just set them equal to each other since they are congruent. That's a trickier algebra problem. First thing you would want to do with that one is get all the x's together on the same side. So I'm going to subtract the 15x. And do you see how I lined it up? if I have to say stop talking again, I'm gonna be really upset. Stop it. We'll go nice and quick if you just stay quiet and listen to me. All right. So do you see how I lined it up? We got to stay organized. 17 minus 15 is 2. So 2x minus 4 equals 12. Let me get the door. Hold on a second. Hold on, I'm going to hand you your papers. All right, and then what would we need to do here? Add 4, good job. So that'll be 2x equals 16. 12 plus 4 gives you 16. And then divide by 2, you get 8. Lovely. And the last one there says to fill in all the rest of the angles. There are only 2 numbers. You have small and you have big. Do you see how this one is big? Okay. How could I get the small one? How could I get the answer that goes minus from 180? So 180 minus 118, I got 62. So that's 62. All you need to do is fill in the rest of it. Every small one is going to be 62, and every big one is going to be 118. So this would be 118, this would be 62. They're vertical angles. Across from each other is congruent. And then just bring that down here. The small ones are 62. See how I did that? The small is 62. And then big is 118. But you only have 2 options. It's not like you have all these choices. There's only 2 options, right? We're going to do a few more together, and then you'll have your classwork. You're going to do a couple more practice ones together. On the other sheet, go to the side that has the 4 problems. We're going to do those 4 together, and then I'm going to leave you alone. It'll be your time to do some practice. So we're going to do the side that looks like this, the 4 problems. If you guys are okay, I'm going to start abbreviating some of this so we don't have to write out all the words. Is that okay with you? We could start abbreviating some stuff. Your generation is very good at abbreviating because you do it with texting all the time. You abbreviate all your words. So I feel like you guys are pretty good at that. All right, so looking at this one. What type of angle pair would this be? Do you see how they're on the same side? They will be supplementary, so that's going to go right here, supplementary. But the type of angle pair is like corresponding or same side interior or alternate exterior. That's the angle pair, okay? So these ones would be what? Do you see how they're on the same side? So same side, interior or exterior? Interior. So I'm going to abbreviate that if you guys can handle that. I put SS for same side and then INT for interior so that we don't have to write out the whole thing every single time. So same side, interior. And then we're going to do the same thing we did on the other paper. It's just kind of holding your hand and leading you through it. Your equation. Are we going to set them equal or are we going to make them equal 180? Good. 3x plus 6x equals 180. And there's a little space off to the side for you to do the work. What algebra would you need to do next to put it together? Yeah, good. Add those together, you would get 9x equals 180. Yep, perfect. Divide by 9. X is 20. Now this one goes one step further and it wants the angle measurements. All you would do is take 20 and plug it back in for x. So for this one, you would do 3 times 20, which good, would give you 60 degrees. And I'm going to put a degree symbol on that since it's an angle. And then the other one, you would do 6 times 20, which would be 120. And if you add those, what do you get? 180. Beautiful. All right, let's just try a couple more together. All right, type of angle pair. I'm going to turn my paper so the parallel lines go this way because that's how we're used to seeing it. Can anyone tell me what kind of angle pair those are? I'm looking for same side or alternate or corresponding, interior, exterior. Alternate, good. Exterior. Do you see how it's outside of the parallel lines? So alternate exterior. I'm going to abbreviate alt ext. Alternate exterior. I only literally just taught this to you 20 minutes ago. If you were like, I'm not seeing it yet, that's fine. You've got time. We're going to do tons of practice. All right, does that mean that they are congruent or supplementary? Good, congruent. Bless you. And that means you're not going to use a 180. You're going to take these two statements and do what with them? Equal them to each other. Would you be okay to finish that? I'm not trying to torture you with. Do you guys understand the point of notes is just so you can understand what's happening? If I feel like you've got it, I'm not gonna like. Could you solve that or finish solving that? Yeah. Or do you remember the calculator trick I taught you? You would put this into the first little box and this into the second little box and click on where they do what? Where they, perfect, intersect. Okay, let's just set up the next one. Setting it up is the important part. All right. What type of angle pair is that? Good. SS for same side. Interior or exterior? Exterior. Exterior, because they're outside of the parallel line. So same side, exterior. So same side means that they are, bless you, supplement. Good, you guys got it. Supplementary. And so to set it up, your equation, you're going to take those two things. Perfect. You're going to add them together. So 3x plus 77 plus, the other one, 4x, what is it, plus 54 equals 180. And then again, you could either work that out by hand, you could do the calculator trick I showed you, and get the rest of it. Yeah, go ahead. If they're the same side of the transversal, it's supplementary. The other thing you can do is look at big and small. If you have one of each, like this one's small, this one's big. Down here, this one's big, this one's small. Because you only have two options for how it's going to look. And if you have one of each, if you have a small one and a big one, they're going to add up to be 180. Does that help you see it a little bit? Like, there's only two options. Here, let me pull this back out. There's only two choices. It's either the big angle. Come on, focus for me. Thing. Hold on, let me try. Come on, come into focus. There we go. So what we had was this one and this one. So do you see how it's one of each is what we had on our paper? Yeah, good. Yeah, good. All right, so we'll set up one more together and then you guys can do your classwork. I think that'll be a perfect amount of time. All right, I'm going to turn my paper so that my parallel lines are going side to side because that's just usually how we see it. Now, these are on the same side, but they aren't a same side anything. Do you see how they both match up? They're in the bottom left of, the four kind of spaces that we have. What do we call that if they match up, like it's in the same spot? It's corresponding, which I'm going to abbreviate CORR. So if they match up, it's corresponding. So that means they are congruent, perfect. And so are you going to use a 180? No. Instead, you're just going to take them and equal them to each other. And then you could work that out by hand or use your calculator.